Never Just Friends.
By Mina v. Esguerra. I have something to tell you. You're gorgeous. I'm sorry. I give permission to kick me whenever you want. Jake had never seen Lindsay angry at him. There was one time when she probably might have been, but the greater concern was making sure he didn't choke on his own vomit, so she didn't let it show. He was certain, though, that she was mad as hell right now. Might have been for a year, at least. If he opened with a line about allowing her to assault him, she might actually do it. He saw her before she saw him. He liked it when that happened. When they first met, she was just as beautiful, but not as aware of what that meant. The power she had over him if she used that same smile and paired it with a simple request. He spent the first few months of their friendship wondering if he should tell her about it. But that meant she might use it on someone else. And yes, he was a selfish bastard about a lot of things, including this. Most of all, this. So, he didn't tell her. Their eyes met. He held back on the smile, let it creep up on his forehead, his eyebrows, before it pulled at his mouth. He saw the same thing, the same relieved, comforted, happy smile creep up her face, but refused to show on her lips. Lindsay bit down on that lush lower lip to keep it from betraying her. He had this. "You can kill me later," Jake said, as he stood to welcome her. "But you know what that means if you kill me?" The heels made her taller, made her rise up so that the top of her head came right under his nose. He pulled her into a tight hug, but she remained stiff, already smiling, but not quite ready to let him in.
One less mouth to split the rations with,
she muttered. It was an inside joke, a personal reference. Lindsay was mad, but she was going to forgive him. He could do this. He left a kiss on her head and pulled away reluctantly. There was work to be done. You say that now, but you'll need to sleep. Who's going to take the midnight watch and protect you from the zombies while you sleep? Lindsay sank into the velvet sofa behind him. At a distance of approximately 2 small children away, she placed an envelope onto the glass tabletop in front of them and slid it toward him.
"Your contract. You should sign it before my bosses get here."
Of course. He had seen this contract already. The 3 copies in the envelope for him to sign were a formality, but he skimmed through the relevant pages anyway. Parts he had specifically commented on. Things to be in order. He uncapped his pen and began to sign every page. She watched him, foot tapping, until she couldn't help it.
"So, what the hell, Jake?"
He had several pages to go and smiled as she seethed. "What?"
"You can't call to tell me that you're doing this? What are you trying to prove? If you wanted to work in an environment, any agency with more money than God would be knocking over themselves to sign you, and you go with us, behind my back."
"I don't need to work with people who have more money than God."
"We could have talked about this. I'm pushing an important project at the conference, and if you really wanted to help me, you could have told me that—"
Last page. Jake happened to like his real signature, the one he used for contracts, and out of habit would lean back to admire it after signing something. There was also a finality to the signature, because it only got used when he committed to something. This piece of paper and signature meant 3 weeks, doing work he thought he had already left behind, beside someone he thought he already lost. "Lindsay," he said, when he was finally done, "I'm here. Officially your colleague, if that's what it means. If you need my help with anything, then you have me for 3 weeks. Let's do this."
"Why didn't you call?"
she asked him. "My flight got in before 7, and I know you don't..."
"Not just today."
Lindsay's voice was tight.
"Why didn't you call at all? After I went to Vancouver to see you."
Of course she wasn't going to let him go that easily. He raised both hands. "Officer," he said, "you got me. I'll explain everything later."
"Stop making jokes."
"Pay attention. This next one, I'm dead serious about. Are you ready?" Then, in front of the hovering hotel staff and everyone else, he made his move. He first leaned into her, mouth capturing hers, and then pulled the rest of her toward him, through the arm he had hooked around her waist. She gasped and instinctively raised the palm to smash his trachea. Exactly what they talked about by the way, so he was still proud of her. But then, her fingers instantly curled gently around his throat. Lindsay kissed him back. His tongue plunged deep, then retreated, held, and he pulled back, gently, gracefully. He congratulated himself on that perfect landing and tucked the lock of her hair behind her ear.
What the hell, Jake?
She whispered. I want things, Lindsay, he said. I want to do this. I want to work in environment. You know, it's one of the things I had to give up when I left school, but now I can do this.
I can see that.
She said, still shell-shocked.
Well, you've established that. It doesn't explain...
I also want you. You, Lindsay. My zombie apocalypse buddy. You might not believe it because I've been invisible all year. And more than that, if you add everything up, but I'm here now. I pulled 2.5 miracles so I can spend 3 uninterrupted weeks with you. Because I want you.
Hold on a second.
Lindsay said, a frown creasing her brow again. But he was ready for this. He knew this would happen.
No, you show up after dropping me out of your life, and then you're asking for what? An instant relationship?
I want you. I want a chance to see if we can be good together. You and me. A relationship. We've never been physical, but I've leaned on you for everything. I'm a greedy man, and I want it all now. I want you. Your lips, your body, your future. If you're willing to give it, and if you are, I've signed the paperwork. I'm yours for 3 weeks. All yours.
Never just friends.
By Mina, Esguerra.